So the day before yesterday, I had an issue with my parents, and they called my neighbors to be the middleman and kind of a third person view, to give the third person view. So when they came, I also mentioned that my parents have objection regarding me watching LGBTQ videos. So this was not a thing we were fighting about, but I mentioned it. So later they said, "Now what is it about LGBTQ? What do you do about it?" So I said I watched some videos about it because I didn't want to come out at that time or give the impression also that I am very much into it. So I just said I casually watched some videos on it. So now the neighbors, the husband is a doctor in Safdarjung, and the wife is the doctor in Ames. Both are cancer doctors, and I thought that they were so big doctors, so they would be more empathetic towards it. But turns out that they were so much homophobic. It was very disgusting to hear what they had to say about it. Like, and it wasn't as if I wasn't prepared for it, because I've watched a lot of YouTube videos and heard a lot of people say that these are some of the things people say, but to see it happening to me IRL, it was so disgusting. Like, see, they were saying things like it is not a natural order, and the nature can never make a mistake, uh, or and also that the nature, when the nature chooses whom to eliminate, they don't give up. The nature doesn't give up and goes on to eliminate the person, and said that the LGBTQ is a huge scam of the century, is the biggest scam of the century. So they were saying all these things, but I knew how to counterattack them, but I didn't do anything. I was just playing dumb because, uh, of course, because why will I imply that I know more than little bits about it? Otherwise, they would have gone on and on. So I just listened, and they were saying things like no millionaire or billionaire has an LGBT child, yeah, or they are not themselves LGBT. They only show this propaganda into India and other countries, which they want to India and other countries which they want to downgrade the economy and the culture, and that's why uh, prop- they promote these things. And this kind of like that capitalists promote LGBTQ just because they want a perfect employee, like who doesn't have children, and who doesn't have a partner or parents or responsibility of the parents, so that there would be an ideal employee. They were also like poverty is not a virtue, and therefore LGBT is also not a virtue, it is an abnormality. They gave the example of people who have six fingers accidentally. They said that only one person in 5,000 or 10,000 have six fingers, and that is abnormality. Not all the other people with five fingers are abnormal. And same with LGBTQ, they are that they are abnormal and not everyone is. Bro, when did we say that other people are abnormal? And when did we say that we don't want children? We all don't want children, or we all want children. They said that the order of the nature is to make its legacy. See a neem tree; it has so many seeds around it in the autumn seasons, and that the order of the nature is to increase its legacy. And mind you, that doctor couple has three kids, all girls. I don't know what if they plan to have another kid and that turns out to be a boy, and then they stop having other kids, because mostly the legacy, according to our society, the legacy can be carried by only sons and not daughters. So I don't know about it. And I also plan to ask them about climate change, whether they believe it or whether they say it's a hoax. They also gave the example of Kolkata, saying that Kolkata has many LGBT things and awareness, and now look at it, it is in physical decay. They also scoffed at gender neutral things, like they said that recently schools have adopted gender neutral uniforms and all, and they said that this is wrong because both boys and girls are very different from starting. They think differently also, they behave differently also, and if you notice them you will see differences among them. They also said shit like LGBTQ is a way to disintegrate the family and to break families. Like, what the fuck? I mean, both are so senior doctors. People wait in line to meet them. They are in Eames and Safdarjung in New Delhi, the capital of India. And this is the mindset they have. And they have three children. I hope one of their kids turns out to be queer so that the I mean, I don't know. It would be bad for the kid, but I don't know about the parents. They would at least. They also said things like, "If my child turns out to be LGBT, I will consider it as a failure in parenting, in my parenting." They said shit like this. They also compared it to drug peddlers. They said that in our time there were drug peddlers after who were living and selling their products just outside medical schools, and now for this generation it's the LGBT which is the problem. They also say that if they are adopting the children or getting children to surrogacy, then they are only half parents, so they will not be able to love the children like their own kids. And they also added that the people haven't seen old, elderly LGBT people, so they don't know how to cope up with this. So after some years, after few decades, when so many LGBT people will be old and elderly, what will happen to them? uh, this is such a joke. We have, and if the nature wanted to eliminate us, then we would have been eliminated so early, because the hijras in India have been existing since so long, and even gay and lesbians, and they are mentioned in our holy text Kama Sutra also. They also say that it is because of the negative energy is increasing in the world that people are becoming more queer. And I remember that said to me a year back that cats have negative energy, so stay away from them. And then to imagine that these are a doctor couple, doctors of India's topmost government hospitals, who see hundreds of people every day. Such a shame. Like, their whole degrees is in the drains, I guess. Thanks for listening to me till here.